Hello everyone, and welcome back to my series on my breakup with my uterus. I am recording today's video in bed because it is now my most favorite piece of furniture. I get tired very easily, and so it has been my refuge these past few days. It is where I am most comfortable right now. So it's official, my uterus and I have gone our separate ways, and the uterus got custody of everything else. The fallopian tubes, the ovaries, the cervix, the fibroids. It took everything. According to the discharge papers, I had a laparoscopic oophorectomy, which is the removal of the ovaries, and a laparoscopic hysterectomy for everything else. Although my surgery is day surgery, my surgeon, bless her, she booked me in overnight as a precaution, and I cannot tell you how thankful I am that she did that. The surgery was scheduled for Thursday morning at around 8:30. Got there quarter to 7. Admitted to the day surgery unit. They confirmed my identity the first of probably 10 times the whole day. Took a urine sample, went over my medical history, and started an IV, or they tried to. First time in the left hand, that didn't work so well, and then in the left wrist. They also collected blood from my right arm, so even before going into pre-op, I had already been poked 3 times. Once they wheeled me into pre-op, I met with the anesthesiologist and, again, confirm your identity, any allergies, any medical history with general anesthesia. And then he described that, he would give me something through my IV to help me relax, then an oxygen mask, and then I would be intubated. I also met with 2 additional surgeons who would be assisting with the surgery. Again, confirm your identity, went over what it was that was going to be done to me, and then finally my surgeon, Dr. Lowe, arrived. We discussed one more time what was going to be done. She was going to try to save the ovaries if possible, but if the endometriosis on the ovaries was too severe, there was a chance that she would have to take them both as well. Then the whole team gathered beside my bed. One last debrief before going into the operating room. Into the OR, I moved over to the table, and the last thing I remember was the anesthesiologist giving me something in my IV to help me relax. I closed my eyes and I was out. So what was actually done, according to my medical records and what the nurses and surgeon told my family, and based on the marks on my abdomen, I had the laparoscopic hysterectomy and the laparoscopic oophorectomy. They made 4 incisions in my lower abdomen in and around the belly button. And the uterus and cervix were removed vaginally. Then a small incision was made from my belly button downwards, and that was probably about 2 centimeters, and that was to remove the ovaries and fallopian tubes. So coming out of surgery, I had been poked 4 times because I discovered I had a new IV, and 5 incisions on my abdomen. I don't remember anything in the recovery room other than people talking, and then I tried to open my eyes. This wave of dizziness washed over me, and I just shut my eyes and laid as still as possible. Needless to say, I do not do well with general anesthesia. I don't do well with sedation, narcotics in general, so it was a good thing I was booked in for overnight because I was in no shape to go home that day. My family got to come in and see me because I was staying overnight. I could not open my eyes to see them, but managed to talk with them. I remember some of the conversations, but my most concerning thing was I just couldn't open my eyes. The bright lights, even moving my head with my eyes closed, caused me to be really, really dizzy. And when I get dizzy, I get nauseous. They tried to give me some anti-nausea medication through the IV. That helped a lot. I also had some heaviness in my chest, and I don't know what they did, but that subsided as well. So that was slowly making the the rest a lot easier as I spent the night there. But then came the need to empty my bladder, and that is one hell of a task, because during surgery I had a catheter, and then also during the surgery, one of the procedures that was done is a cystoscopy, where they go in with a scope and they inspect your bladder, your urethra, all the parts attached to make sure that it's all good before they close you up and put you into recovery. So it's pretty tender in terms of the bladder and the need to relieve the bladder. Not only that, I had compression sleeves on my lower legs, and those are hooked up to pumps, and essentially what they do is they massage your legs so that you don't develop any blood clots in your legs. Bonus, they keep your legs really warm. So those were really nice and comforting, but in order to go to the bathroom, those needed to come off. Opening my eyes to sit up, dizzy. Standing up to go to the bathroom. The first time, it took 3 nurses to take me to the restroom in a mobile commode. At which point, my IV came out, and ironically enough, the IV was dripping more than my bladder could. When you've had a cystoscopy, it is very painful to empty your bladder. And when your body feels pain, it shuts down. It doesn't want to do whatever it is that's causing you pain. So trying to empty my bladder that first time was very difficult. And but because I was on an IV, I was too dizzy to sit up and drink and eat or anything. I was still on an IV, so I wouldn't be dehydrated. I needed to empty my bladder pretty much every hour. The good news was each subsequent time it got a little bit easier. The pain would subside slowly over time. The dizziness eventually got a lot more bearable. So going to the bathroom was much easier. But it was still uncomfortable and a task, especially when you're medicated in pain. You've got an IV on you. So, but we got through it, and that is actually one of the criteria in order to be discharged, is to be able to empty your bladder. So Friday morning, I was okay to go home in terms of being able to empty my bladder. Pain was pretty manageable, and the dizziness had subsided to a point that I could go home. However, I started to feel the ache in my body. Essentially, it is from the chin all the way down to my ankles. The achiness and the pain, it's like when you go to the gym, you overdo it, and then the next day when you wake up, you can't even get out of bed. It's that type of achiness. There was phlegm building up in my throat, and so essentially I think that was all from the intubation. The rest of my body, I don't know why I was so achy, but I was. So first day home, came home, crashed, had several naps, got up enough to be able to eat, converse with the family for a bit, and then just crashed again. So Saturday and Sunday, I was still pretty tired. I managed to go for a walk each day, just down to the end of my street and back, come home, crashed, so tired. I only needed to take one nap on Sunday, which was quite an improvement. And then for pain, when I was discharged, it was essentially 2 extra strength Tylenols and 2 ibuprofens every 6 hours. And I don't do well on multiple days of ibuprofen. So by Monday, my stomach was pretty upset with me. So I made the decision that I would just stick with, 2 Tylenols every 6 hours for the pain. And today, Wednesday, the stomach has eased up a little bit. I can actually feel hunger pains as opposed to just pain. So that is a huge improvement. The aches, by about Monday, the achiness in my neck and my legs were pretty much gone. One weird thing that was happening was this feeling of bubbles just underneath the skin. It was happening all around in my neck and collarbone area and in my lower legs. And I think it's because when they do the surgery, they pump air into you. And normally, I think people pass that gas. The nurses kept asking me, have you been passing gas? Have you been passing gas? Normally that's not a problem, but for some reason I couldn't. And I'm not trying to because, you know, it hurts to try to put any kind of strain on your body. So I think those bubbles are probably a result of that air not being able to leave my body. So it was weird and fascinating at the same time, you know, poking at my skin and hearing this little bubbly crunch happening. But that has gone away. Now it's just dealing with the abdominal pain when the medication wears off. It's been pretty good. The legs got quite achy again last night, but I don't know. I'll just keep exercising and, you know, try to go for walks again. I couldn't the last couple of days because I've been in so much pain, but hopefully today will be a good day. So because they have removed both of my ovaries, my surgeon has prescribed me with some hormones. So I have progesterone pills that I would be taking daily, and then estrogen in the form of a gel that you just put onto the skin. And there is a prescribed number of days to do it every month. So we're gonna start that tomorrow, 1 week from surgery, and we'll see how it goes. And that's all I have for now. The fatigue is starting to wear in. Probably lay down for a little bit and then try to get outside and get some fresh air and move this recovery along. So thanks for joining me, and I have my 6-week post-op appointment already scheduled, and I'll keep you updated on how things go. Until then, take care.